Excellent. And now we have started our recording. Good evening, everyone, and good morning for some of you across the globe. We don't take that lightly. Someone's up at 3 o'clock in the morning, particularly when we do record these and we send this out to our following, to our list. So we certainly thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, waking up perhaps very early in the morning. You just put a little pressure on me. We've got to deliver here, right? Okay. All right. So now on Thursday nights, this is our marketing training night. All right. And it doesn't matter what you are promoting. You know, you may be promoting multiple offers. As a matter of fact, do me a favor. In your questions box, tell me what you are promoting. What are the things that you are promoting right now? I'd just be interested to see the things that you good folks are promoting. So what we want to do is we want to bring value to you, and we want to bring value to anyone that's in your following, so that you feel comfortable bringing your following, maybe some marketing buddies or buddiettes that are not in your organization, but you've befriended them on Facebook, a way that you can bring value to them by sharing some marketing training that will assist them in building whatever their business interests happen to be. Let me just look over here and see. All right, so we've got folks in health, we've got folks in advertising, Easy One Up, Monetize, Infinity, travel and weight loss, Legal Shield. Are you doing that one online? I haven't seen much online. I know that's been a big offline. Infinity. All right, Fox Legacy, health and weight loss. Okay. All right, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Okay. You know what? So we want to bring value to you. We want to bring value to your following. Now, these webinars are sponsored by RAS, and if you're not familiar with RAS, you'll start to get familiar with her. But again, RAS is to help you build whatever it is that you are currently promoting. So let's go to work. Whoops. I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong spot. That's where I meant to be. By the way, just so you know, typically we'll go content about 75 minutes or so, about 15 past the next hour. And then, you know, we'll be back every week, you know, so even if I don't finish what my plan was for that training for the night, then we can pick it back up on the following week. Real quickly, next week, next Thursday is a really big holiday in the U.S., Thanksgiving. And so instead of having our webinar on next Thursday, we're going to back next week's webinar up to Tuesday, okay? Same webinar link. We're just going to be here on Tuesday with our RAS webinar on next week. Okay, let's get started. All right, so as always, we like to start off with our long-term objective for our following. And it's to assist you in building a long-term sustainable business with multiple streams of income. One of my mentors has over 21 different income streams across different niches. All right, so we want to have multiple streams of income. 1, 2, we want to have those streams of incomes stretched across different niches. What you'll find in the home business space, particularly in the network marketing space, which is where I kind of come from. I cut my teeth in network marketing, been in network marketing for 20 plus years, is you'll have offers that get hot, a certain sector, a certain niche within the home business arena. So a few years ago, it was the nutritional beverage niche, goji juice, noni juice, Zango juice, Monavi or Monavi, all right? And that was really hot for a few years. It was really, really hot. And then that started to die down a little bit. You know, those companies are still going strong. Many of them are doing a lot of their business in, you know, parts of Asia and what have you, maybe more international. All right. And then, you know, for a while there was a revenue sharing niche. And unfortunately, that model has not proven to be long-term successful. There's one company I'm aware of that has a revenue sharing model that I think they've got a good shot of making it because they seem to be doing it right. But most companies didn't quite do things right. And so you want to have multiple streams, yes, across multiple niches, because you might be involved in a niche today that's hot, but it might cool off, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or what have you. So you want multiple streams of income across multiple niches. All right, so think about my buddy. My buddy has 21 different income streams across 21 different niches. He may have more income streams now. If one of those streams or one of those niches goes stale, goes dry, that's not going to impact how he takes care of his family on a month-to-month basis. So that's what we want, so that ultimately we have our financial and time freedom so we can really do the things that we're passionate about. All right. I don't know that anybody's really, well, some people are, but I don't know that any of you are really passionate necessarily about marketing. Marketing is a means to an end. Now, I'm passionate about teaching. All right. I love teaching. I love training. This gives me a buzz. But there are other things I want to do with my life that have nothing to do with network marketing or home business building or what have you. But, we all need to answer that money question so we can hotly pursue the passions of our heart. Okay, now, we'll always talk about why marketers are failing, because if we can get this and understand why marketers fail, so if you've been challenged, if you're at that point where you're still not making any money, or you're not making that much, or things are more of a struggle than they are having successes, the whole idea is, man, let's check these things off the list. All right. So, for instance, one of the reasons that people fail in business is because really their subconscious programming is not set for success. It's set for failure. And I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but we've got to work on ourselves. Our biggest asset is not the offer. Our biggest asset is not even the list, even though the list is very, very important. And it's the second biggest factor to your business. Your biggest asset is you. And so you want to always work on you. Number two, most don't have a funnel-based system. We'll talk about that tonight with RAS. Number three, most do not have a responsive list. So if you mastered 1, 2, and 3, that would go so far with you building a tremendous business enterprise that could get you to 6 and 7 figures. Number 4, poorly constructed offers. Number 5, most people don't know how to consistently drive high-quality, laser-targeted traffic or visitors. When we say traffic, we mean people getting to your site, eyeballs getting on your offer. Now, I want to start off real quickly by just tipping my hat off to a couple of our RAS stars. Here's Sim, and Sim, if you're on the webinar, I think I heard you out there. Sim, how long have you been a part of RAS now? Has it been 2 weeks? Has it been a full 2 weeks? I want you to look at what's happening for some of our folks that are just getting here. And nobody's been here that long because RAS just launched like 3 weeks ago. So Sim sent some traffic. All right, most people don't know how to drive high-quality laser-targeted traffic. Sim sent some traffic. All right, looks like he did some type of paid traffic campaign. He got 67 people to opt into his system. So he's building his list. All right, so that he can ultimately build the following. All right, there's a difference between your list and your following. Your following is going to come from your list. You got to build the list first. All right, and he's already had a couple of sales of our system as a result. I'm sure probably even had some folks that joined him in his back-end offer with the system. And so congratulations to you, Sim. Sim says he's been in for 2 weeks. Hey, Sim, quick question. Did you have an email list prior to RAS? Is this your first list that you're starting to build, or did you have a list previously? And I'll wait for Sam to answer in the questions box. Okay, I'll keep on and maybe he'll get a chance to answer. Okay, so congratulations to my buddy Sam there. Okay, so he said he had a list. Good for you, Sam. Good for you. He had a list. Fantastic. All right. Cheryl, I am so proud of Cheryl because what Cheryl did is she's got RAS, and RAS is a mobile marketing list building machine, okay? But she wanted to test something out. And so what she did was she actually sent some traffic to an email capture page, all right? And she got 55 people out of 100. That's a heck of an opt-in rate, Cheryl. That's phenomenal. She got 55 people to opt into her mailing list, her email list. And from those 55, she got 23 of those folks to actually check out her RAS capture page, which is a mobile capture page. And she's gotten 18 of those to actually opt in. So what she's done is she's promoted so that she's building her email list and her SMS text messaging list simultaneously. Great job for you. And now she's got 70 opt-ins. I'm assuming those 70 opt-ins are probably in her SMS text messaging list with RAS. All right, so what I want you to get, and the reason I wanted to just highlight a couple of folks, and we could spend all webinar just highlighting people, is what our RAS folks are getting is they're getting that even though the offer is important, all right, what you're promoting is important, right, and there's some offers that are better than others, obviously, that offers come and go. Offers change all the time. I mean, just think in the last 2-3 years, if you've been in this industry for any length of time. Now, obviously, you might be a newbie, but in the last 2 or 3 years, how many different offers have you promoted in the last 2 or 3 years? You know, you have this nice little shiny object over here. It looks really good. And great product, you know, raise Lazarus from the dead product, melt 20 pounds while you sleep product. And you get the product, and maybe the product works, but you want to promote the opportunity. You want to make money with it, but you don't have a list. And then it's difficult to make money, and you know, now that auto ship kind of becomes another bill. And great product, you come back to it later on, and then you get an email about some other shiny offer. You know, all the leaders are joining this one, and this one is hot, and you know, the train's about to leave the station. I better jump on now, and what have you. And you know, it's got the greatest compensation plan that's ever been designed. And you jump on that one, and you know, you still don't have much success with that one. And then, you know, a third one and a fourth. See, offers come and go. All right. Certainly some offers are better than others. What we want to focus on is our real business. And our business is you and your following. Your business is you and your following. All right. So let me do a little review from last week. Last week we talked about that same thing. That, you know, yes, you want to find good offers. All right. That's how you're going to develop multiple streams of income across multiple niches. But we have to understand where the offer falls in the priority of things. The priority of things is working on you, one, working on building your following via building your lists, number two. Those are so much higher priorities than the actual offer. Because when you build your list and when you start to develop a following, you can now present to your list, present to your following a myriad of different offers. And if it's a responsive list, they'll pay attention. Doesn't mean they'll buy, doesn't mean they'll join. But if it's a responsive list, which is what we want to build, ultimately a percentage of those folks are going to buy. A percentage of those folks are going to join. Now, I'm showing this because this is an income disclosure statement by way of review. This is a very, if I were to say the name of the company, almost all of us, if we've been online for any length of time, would say, yeah, I know that company. I was even maybe a part of that company or what have you. This is a better income disclosure statement than most companies will have, all right? The company pays 100% commission. So if they've got the first product they have is $25 a month. So if you get the $25 a month product and you're an affiliate, you refer John, Mary, Susan, and they get the $25 a month product, you're getting 100% commissions. You're basically taking care of all of your costs of a little small ancillary affiliate fee and what have you. With your third referral, you're in profit. And so you would think that something that allows you to refer just one person and you're in the business essentially for free, would be a big hit in the marketplace. And this has been a big hit in the marketplace. Yet, when you take a look from January 2013, October 2016, you'll see that the percentage of affiliates overall during that time frame, 92%, really didn't make any money. Okay, 92% didn't make any money. And 92% of the folks, their average income was $4 a month. Now, this is of all the affiliates, the ones that are active and the ones that are not active. A lot of those are no longer active because it just didn't work out for them. And it's not that the system didn't work. It's not that the system wasn't a good system. It's not that it wasn't a great product or service or compensation plan. It was because most of the folks didn't really understand what it took to build a long-term sustainable business, which starts with working on you and working on building your following via having a responsive list. Okay, are there some people making some big money with that company? Sure, but you see, very small percentage, much larger percent not making any money. And this is a better income disclosure statement than most. And so what I want to just draw your attention to again is, let's not fixate on the offers. Right? Offers are important. We need to have offers. But let's really focus on the main thing. All right. The main thing is building you and your following. That's the main thing. Building you and your following. Okay. So most marketers have the cart before the horse. We want to not be that person that has the cart before the horse. Your business is a combination of you and your following. Combination of you and your following. All right, now what do I mean by following? Again, this is a little bit of a review, and then we're going to get into new information. Foy is a good example. Foy has been following yours truly since I believe about 2011. We were in a company together. He wasn't on my team. I wasn't on his team. Somehow he stumbled across us. Probably we were doing some webinars, and he probably heard about our webinars, maybe on social media, YouTube or something like that. Started following us. That particular company, unfortunately, went away. It was a great company, great compensation plan. Didn't dot all the I's, didn't cross all the T's. Mr. Regulator came in, shut that thing down. But Foy, even though he wasn't on my team back then, has followed me ever since. And he and I had a text conversation the other day. And he told me all the stuff that he has followed me in. Okay. That's what you want. You want a Foy Underwood on your team, or you want a Christine Taylor as a part of your following. Christine, same thing. She's followed us for years. Or you want a Vanetta Johnson. Vanetta has followed us since about 2003 or 2004. We were in an offline company before we came onto the internet, and things happen. But Vanetta has followed us for years and years and years and years. So that's what you want. Is you want to have folks, you want to build your list, and then from your list, you start to cultivate a very responsive list, and you're going to start having some people that follow you. So that now, when you have some type of offer, it might be network marketing, it might not. It might be an affiliate offer, it might be a product, it might be a service, what have you. And you now send that out to your list, you're going to have a percentage of people that are going to do business with you. And this is one of the reasons since I think 2011, 2012 or so, since about that time, if we were to start promoting a new offer, let's say it was network marketing, because that's kind of where I come from, I already know that in any network marketing offer that I choose to promote, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what the niche is, doesn't matter what the product is, doesn't matter what the compensation plan is, I already know that I'm going to get about 100 or so folks minimum from my list that are going to join me in whatever that deal happens to be. I already know that. And then I can build that. I'll go to my list first, and I'll get my 100 or so folks that will personally join me, and then we'll start to build from there and what have you. So what that means is, because we have our understanding of what our business really is, we'll never be out of business. We'll never go out of business. The offer, they might do some stupid stuff, all right? But when you understand what business is, what your business is you and your following. Your business is you and your following. And then what starts to happen is you start to not only develop followers, but then people that are in your following, they start developing their own followers. And if you're leveraging a leverage-based model, let's say like a network marketing company or a multi-level marketing company, Robert is another gentleman who has followed me for years. Again, I think he found me in another company, wasn't on my team, I don't believe. I wasn't on his team, I don't believe. But somehow we connected, he got in our list. Something happened to the offer, and he's continued to follow ever since. But here's the key. All right, Robert now has his own following. All right, so Frank, who follows, excuse me, Frank follows Robert. Robert has followed me. This is what you want to ultimately have in your business. All right, by way of a little review again, give me a moment. All right, we talked last week about list building conversion metrics. That from an email list perspective, I believe that an SMS text list is going to give you a bigger bang for your buck. But SMS text message marketing is still so new, so we don't have really a metrics for that just yet. But from an email marketing perspective, you'll tend to earn $1 per month per subscriber, and you'll tend to convert 1 to 5% of your subscribers into customers or recruits or whatever it is that you're promoting. If you're promoting an affiliate product or a service, you'll tend to convert 1 to 5% of your list to that product or service. If you're promoting a network marketing MLM opportunity where you're actually wanting to recruit people, you'll tend to convert 1 to 5% of your list into that particular opportunity. That's why I know that if tomorrow, if I said I'm joining Amazon Juice, all right, fictitious name, all right, and I sent that information out to my list, all right, I already know because of the size of my list, one, and because of the responsiveness of my list building metrics. All right, so if you have 1,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, then you should be making that times $1 per month or more from your email list. If you're not making that, then that means either we haven't done a good enough job communicating with that list on a consistent basis to make them responsive, or something is broken somewhere. But we can fix that. Now that we know this, we can fix that. We've got to communicate consistently, and we've got to communicate value to them consistently. All right, so for those of you that are saying, okay, I've been in network marketing, and I have a hard time recruiting people. I have a hard time getting sales. All right, well, again, it goes back to your list, and it goes back to then providing value to that list. Because when you understand the metrics, if you had a list of 1,000 subscribers, you should get somewhere between 10 to 50 of those that actually buy what you want them to buy or join what you want them to join. 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, look at that, all right? 100 to 500 conversions. So when you're in a network marketing company and let's say you're having a tough time getting people to come and join you and what have you, but then you look at the leaders board and you're hearing about people that have personally referred 300, 3,000 or what have you. Well, that's because those folks likely have a list, a very large list. So they're still only getting the same percentages. They're not getting any higher percentage than you that convert. They just have a much larger following. And so that's what we want to be focusing on in our business. So the key is a responsive list. So how do we cultivate a responsive list? Now we're starting to get into some new stuff, okay? How do we cultivate a responsive list? Well, here's how we do it. We've got to consistently provide valuable content to your list. So we've got to have a list building mechanism. We've got to start building this list, all right, people opting in. And then once that happens, we have to consistently provide valuable content to the list so that people start to like you, respect you, and trust you. So now when you send some type of recommendation that would require them to pull out the credit card and join and buy or what have you, that now they feel comfortable because you've been providing value all along. It can't just be buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. It can't just be join me, join me, join me. Now, do we want them, Robert, to buy from you? Yes. Pauline, do we want them to join you? Yes. But your communication can't just be buy, can't just be join. And if it is a promotional pitch where you want them to, some type of call to action to buy or join or what have you, you want to wrap that pitch in value. Now, I'm going to want every single one of you to leverage RAS. But notice, how are we sharing RAS? With value. With value. So even if it's a pitch, buy this from me, join me in this, you want to make sure that is wrapped, that pitch is wrapped in value. Now, here is where there's a big challenge for a lot of people, because you can have a list, but how do you consistently provide value to that list, especially if you have struggled up to this point? I remember when I first started hearing this message, I had success offline in my business and network marketing, but I had not had any success online. I was new to coming online. And when they talked about providing value, I'm thinking, well, what kind of value can I provide? Because, I don't know anything about, this is back in 2008, 2009. I don't know anything about marketing on the internet. And so that happens a lot, especially if a person is new or they've been, give me a moment. I'm sorry, let me turn off Skype. Bear with me. Give me a moment. I need to turn this off. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. All right, so one big challenge that folks have is, especially if they, let's say they've been in the market for a while, they've been, marketing for a while, but they haven't had much success. Then it becomes, well, how do I bring value to the marketplace? Well, here's what I want you to get. This is very important. You want to provide consistent, valuable information to your list. You don't have to be the content creator. You don't have to be the one doing the training. All right. There's just so much value you can find just by going to YouTube. All right. And the beautiful part is we'll talk about how our system has already done that for you. So now let's talk about the 3 powerful ways to cultivate a responsive list. So your business is you and your following. Your following is going to come from you building and cultivating a responsive list. Now, not everybody in your list is going to be a part of your following. You're going to have some buttholes in your list, all right? You're going to have some folks that are just negative people, and they're going to reflect their negativity, the fact that they have poor subconscious programming onto you. And I will tell you that when you're dealing with mobile marketing, you're going to see that more than if you were dealing with email marketing. Why? Because mobile marketing lends itself to being more responsive. So for instance, I will see more good responses from my mobile marketing list than I will my email list, because more people check their text messages than check their emails. At the same time, I will get more negative responses from my mobile marketing list than I will my email list. Every now and then, someone with my email list, they might say something, that's off color, that's not good stuff. But most often, if they don't value the information I have in my email list, they just unsubscribe. Well, sometimes in your mobile marketing list, because when you send out a message, it hit their phone. All right, somebody's having a bad day. Somebody has very poor subconscious programming, and they may say some nasty stuff, what have you. So I want to make sure you understand that up front. And this is one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you are working on yourself, so that you don't allow someone's negative attitude, negative bad day, all right, negative subconscious programming to shape your day. All right. Okay, so again, I want to make sure you understand, when you start building a mobile marketing following, you're going to have people that respond positively quicker than you would in email. And likewise, you're going to have those folks that have not evolved. All right. They're probably good people having a bad day, bad circumstances, bad subconscious programming, what have you. Okay. All right. So don't let that bother you. Don't let that bother you. Stop sending the messages if you have to, so on and so forth. But now let's talk about how we cultivate a responsive list. The 3 ways to cultivate a responsive list. All right, number 1 is you want to employ the most responsive list building tool there is. Now, up to this point, most people, when you hear them talking about lists, most trainers, when you hear them talking about lists, they're talking about an email list. Now, yes, you could say, well, I've got my Facebook following, or I've got my Twitter following, or I've got my LinkedIn following, or I've got my YouTube subscribers, so on and so forth. Are those lists? Yes, they are. However, here's the one thing I want to caution you about social media lists, okay? A lot of times with the big social media companies, let's say like a Facebook or what have you, is sometimes they will do what's called a slap. Years ago, Google did what was called a Google slap, where there were people, they were building their entire business using Google AdWords. Google AdWords would be when you go in and you type in a search result, and then you see an ad or 2 or 3 based on certain keywords. All right. So you had a lot of marketers that were using Google AdWords to advertise their business, to get in front of traffic. And then all of a sudden, Google did the Google slap, and it made it much more difficult for marketers. And in some cases, some marketers got their Google accounts completely shut down. I've experienced with Facebook, the same thing has happened with Facebook in some cases. I've experienced with Facebook, I didn't get my account shut down, but what happened was I moved from the U.S. to my Caribbean paradise, and prior to making my move, I didn't go on Facebook that much. And I certainly wasn't doing any advertising. Well, when I made my move, after I made my move, we started going through some very high-level marketing training, including a $20,000 mastermind, and we started learning about Facebook advertising. So now all of a sudden, I'm starting to access my Facebook account from a totally different IP, totally different country. 1, 2, I started actually doing paid Facebook marketing ads, which I had never done before. And so Facebook, to protect me, said, hey, wait a minute, this looks like some strange activity. It's not coming from the U.S. and somebody's buying advertising. Hey, we want to make sure it's you, and send in your documents for verification purposes. Okay, not a problem. Within about 24 to 48 hours, I sent in the documents. Now, when they told me that, they shut down all of my other Facebook stuff. All right, so I had a few fan pages that I was using to promote building my Facebook following, and I could no longer make a post on those fan pages. I couldn't do any advertising. I couldn't even make a post. I had a couple of Facebook groups that I was leveraging to kind of build the following, all right, and present whatever the offer happens to be. I couldn't even make a post in my own Facebook group, and so I thought it was going to be resolved in a couple of days. Well, a couple of days wound up being a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks winds up being, I think it was like 90 days, almost 3 months, before they finally turned the light on and allowed me to communicate with my Facebook audience again. So you want to have a list that you own and control. You'll be leasing a system, like I lease my email autoresponder system. I've been using my email autoresponder system since 2003, and even though I've picked up an autoresponder over here to test that autoresponder relative to the autoresponder that I've had, I'm going to always have, as long as I'm marketing, I'm going to always have my existing autoresponder list. And the day that I, let's say, retire from marketing, either my sons are going to take over that list, or I'm going to sell my autoresponder. I'm going to sell my list. All right, sell access to my list. That's an asset. All right, it's an asset. Anytime I promote something new, I can go to my list. Now, here's what we want to do now, though, is in addition to any type of email list, we want to employ the most responsive of all list building tools, which is an SMS text messaging list. For 3 years, there were folks like Mark and Anders and Amy and myself that were, these are some of the folks that are part of our community now. We were beta testers of this same system. What we call RAS now is actually powered by a particular company, and so we were beta testers of that company with the system. And what we saw is that a SMS text messaging list is far more responsive. You want to develop a following, then we have to cultivate a responsive list. You want to develop a following, we have to cultivate a responsive list. So one of 3 ways to build and cultivate a responsive list is, number 1, have a list building tool that by its nature is more responsive. All right, now what do we mean by that? Okay, so up to this point, if I was talking about list building, I was always talking about an email list. All right, and email marketing is not going away. I'm never going to foo-foo on email marketing. We just saw that Cheryl did a campaign where she got more people opting in from an email standpoint than she has the SMS text messaging. And that's simply because more people are used to email opt-ins. They're not as used to an SMS text messaging opt-in from a capture page from a marketer. 2 years from now, I think people will be just as used to it as they are email marketing. All right, so she's doing both. So we're not going to foo-foo. I'm still doing both. I'm not going to foo-foo on email marketing. All right, but if you want, if you're saying, okay, what's the number 1 tool for me to build a responsive list? I'm going to tell you RAS. I'm going to tell you this SMS text messaging system. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Here is third-party information that says that SMS marketing wallops email with a 98% open rate. And it says, no doubt, email still works. Marketers around the globe are using it every day to promote brand messages and rack up sales. And of course, network marketers, affiliate marketers use it to get sales and recruits and what have you. But it's not even close to SMS. And look at this, all right? We're going to be right down here. Hopefully you can see my cursor, all right? Today there are more mobile phone users than email aficionados. Today, there are more mobile phone users. Right now, there are nearly 7 billion mobile subscriptions worldwide. That represents about 95% of the world's population. Now, obviously, there's some people that have multiple mobile devices. All right, so I don't know that it means that 95% of the entire world has a mobile device, but there's 7 billion mobile devices. There's about 7 billion people. Okay, so what that says to me is, if we are not committed to building an SMS text messaging list, then we are going to really regret that in the next few years. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. When I first got in this industry, 1994 is when I first got into the network marketing industry. The internet was just starting to crank up. Okay, and we had no idea in 1994 the impact the internet was going to have on the globe, not to mention our industry. I wish I had understood that back in 94, 95, 96, and that I had become one of those early adopters of leveraging the internet and leveraging email marketing to build my business. As it turns out, I didn't even turn my attention to, hey, I want to build this thing on the internet, this thing being my businesses on the internet, until 2008, after my little girl was born. I didn't want to have to travel anymore. I had spent most of my network marketing, I would be on the road sometimes 3-4 days a week, going from city to city to city, doing the presentation for whatever we were promoting or doing a training or what have you. My very dear friends, love them dearly. Zeke and Jerry Stewart, they lived in Maryland at the time, in the Baltimore area, and I lived in the Greensboro, then the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And so every now and then they would fly me up. You know, I was on their team. They would fly me up, and I'd go in, and they'd roll out the red carpet, and I'd do the dog and pony show. And I loved it. But what happened was I was missing my sons growing up, because typically what happened is when they got out of school, or at some times my wife homeschooled, but if they weren't being homeschooled, if they were in a school, by the time they got out of school and got home and got settled, Daddy was about to leave out, because Daddy had to drive for 2 hours to get to the business presentation that he was hosting that night in Raleigh, North Carolina, or in Columbus, South Carolina, or flying out on my own dime to a big team that we had out in Houston or in LA or what have you, okay? And so I decided I didn't want to miss my daughter growing up like I had missed a lot of things with my son. So I wanted to be able to be in my PJs and build my business. Well, the challenge is I had people like Vernetta Johnson, who I met offline. Diane Smith, Lady Di, who I met offline. Everett Smith, my buddy, who I met offline, that followed me online. So when I came online, I immediately had a small following. Not a huge one, but a small following. And so whenever I promoted anything online, I already had a group of people to go to. And so we did okay. We didn't break the bank or anything, but we did okay. And as a result, even though I came online in 2008, 2009, it really wasn't until about 2012, 2013, we're just talking a few years ago, that the light bulb really went off. See, what I simply did was, instead of really learning, really applying all this stuff I'm teaching you about list building, okay, I did have my email list. Most of the people that were in my email list were people that were on my marketing team offline. All right, that opted in. I heard the message of list building, and you need to be building your list. But Stephen R. Covey said it like this. He says, to know and not do is truly not to know. I'd make a note of that one. Stephen R. Covey, no longer with us on this side, unfortunately, but what a legacy he left. To know and not do is truly not to know. So I heard list building, I heard paid marketing, I heard all that, but I guess I didn't hear it because I didn't do it. 2012, we're promoting a company that we've been promoting since 2011, and it was a kick butt offer. Never made any more money than I made with that particular offer. Many of my people never made any more money than they made with that particular offer. And when that offer went away, that's when it finally hit me. Oh my gosh, I've got to do something different. I've got to bring more value to my people, to my audience, because now that model is gone, because that model didn't require you to have to recruit, to have to make sales in order for you to make money. But now that model was no longer a viable model. Now we got to market. All right. My gosh. And so my whole point in saying all of that is it really wasn't until 2013 that I opened my eyes and said, okay, I'm going to really build this thing internet wise. What do I need to do to build it solely on the internet, where I don't ever have to bother my friends and family if I don't want to? I don't ever have to do anything offline. I can do it all from the privacy of my own home. Now, obviously, from the privacy of your mobile apparatus as well. So here's what I'm saying. I came to the dance at least 13 years late. I at least should have been doing this in the early 2000s. I came to the dance 13 years late. Don't you come to the mobile marketing dance 13 years late, because I will tell you that mobile marketing is moving much, much faster than what internet marketing did. So we want to leverage both internet marketing and mobile marketing. Okay. All right. So we're talking about how do we build a responsive list. We're talking about how we build a responsive list. Give me just a moment. Give me a moment. All right. So this paragraph here, the popularity of email marketing meant that it very quickly became overpopulated with spam. So with email marketing, and I'm not going to foo-foo you on email marketing, a lot of times you'll send an email message to your list and they won't even get it. It'll either go to spam or to go to, let's say if it's Gmail, it may go to the promotions folder, and they may not even check the promotions folder. All right, I rarely check my promotions folder. So if my email is going to my email subscriber, but it goes to their promotion folder, and they check their promotion folder as often as I check mine, which is almost never, then my email is sitting there and it's not getting opened up. All right. However, SMS marketing has a 99% legitimacy rate, meaning it's not going, it's not going to any spam, and most people are watching or viewing that SMS text message within just a few short minutes of it being sent out. And again, off the charts open rate of 98%. So one of the things that we want to build a responsive list is we want to leverage SMS text message marketing. Now, there's a lot of different SMS text systems out there. All right. But like anything else, they're not all the same. And you're not going to find anything like what we have here with RAS. So let's continue this. 3 powerful ways to build a responsive list. Let's talk about number 2. You want to leverage the power of mobile automation. So yes, you want to have people opting into a list that's an SMS text list where you have a lease. All right. So you're purchasing the lease. And now those leads are your leads. And you can communicate to that list as often as you would like. You can communicate to that list about anything that you would like. But you want to also leverage the power of mobile automation. In email marketing, we call it an autoresponder, an automatic responder. All right, it automatically responds. So here's how this happens in email. All right. So someone, let's say I'm doing a campaign, I've got my lead capture page, and someone opts into my email autoresponder, okay? And let's say I've already built out a campaign. Maybe the first day this person opts in, they get message number 1. And then the next day, they get message number 2. And then maybe 2 days after that, they get message number 3. And you can space it out however you want to with an autoresponder. So the autoresponder, the power of automation, the advantage is You build out this marketing campaign, this email campaign in email marketing. You build out this email campaign. When someone opts in today on a Thursday, they get the very first message that you generated. Well, you might have put that autoresponder series together 6 months ago, a year ago, and it's still working for you today. And then, so they opt in today, they get a message today. Tomorrow, a message automatically goes out. You don't even have to come up with another message. 3 days from now, a message automatically goes out. All right, that's one way of using an autoresponder. Okay, now can we do the same thing with SMS text messaging? This is why I say not all SMS text messaging platforms are the same, because most of them do not have an autoresponder sequence. And even if you could do autoresponders, you would have to develop your own autoresponder message. Okay, you want automation so you can consistently communicate with your list, even if you're not around, even if you're on vacation, even if you're at work, even if you're sleeping, because you're going to have folks that's going to come into your list from all over the globe. All right, so you might be sleeping when someone comes into your list. Well, you want a sequence to immediately start to communicate with your list no matter when they opt in. Did you hear the lyrical miracleness? No matter when they opt in. Oh my gosh. All I need is a little beat behind me, and we might have a little concert here. All right. So you want to have an SMS text autoresponder. So here's an example. All right. Here's an example of how our system works and how this helps you to develop a responsive list. All right. So I had a young lady, Cynthia, who opted into my system. Now, how do I know that Cynthia opted into my system? Because my system told me. My system, as I go back and I check it, it says system to Cynthia. All right, so now I've got Cynthia in my list. All right, it sends Cynthia a text message. And notice here that when she opted in, we know she opted in because she had to give the system a 4-digit PIN code. Oh, I'm sorry, the system gave her a 4-digit PIN code. All right, that's how I know she's opted in. And then look, 2 minutes later, automatically, without me being there, the system sent her a message. Hi, Cynthia, my name is Doc. So the system took her variable, her name, based on when she opted in and she put her name. All right. And then it also took my name, all right, or at least the tagline that I go by is Doc. All right. And it said, welcome to my offer. I hope it's everything you're looking for. Good luck. All right. Few minutes later, send Cynthia another text message. Looks like you're entering our network for the first time. Just apply so you can get access to my offer. We won't talk about applications right now, but that's a huge part of our system. It's going to give you a lot of data on your opt-in when they go through and they do an application and do a survey. All right. And a few minutes later, system sends out another text message. Well, why so many text messages? Well, a text message is almost like a tweet. All right, where I might have done this in an email and put all of that in one email. You've got limited characters. But the other thing this does is this is designed to elicit responsiveness. Now, are there going to be some folks who are going to say, stop texting me? Yeah. And I'd rather know that now and just stop texting them than for them just to be in my list and they're not going to do anything anyway. Okay? Most people aren't going to do that, but there's going to be a few, and I need to prepare you for that, so we didn't ruin your day. Just don't text them anymore. Don't worry about it. Don't get into a back and forth with them. Just don't text them anymore. They're the ones that opted in. You didn't tell them to opt in. They opted in because they saw an advertisement somewhere. But hey, they're having a bad day. They need to work on themselves. All right. Okay. All right. So now, up to this point, Cynthia has not responded yet. Well, the system's not working. Not necessarily, because we know that 90 to 98% of these messages are at least being seen. Doesn't mean that she's going to respond to every message. All right. And so my system says, Cynthia, I have a great video collection. I'll send some over to you. Hey, Cynthia, at this point, she had opted in. She hadn't gone through the stage yet where she had done an application. So we want her to do an application. All right. The system says, hey, none of these messages, by the way, did I send out. Now, I can send out messages directly to Cynthia, but I let the system do the system And then I'll go in from time to time to see if I need to respond to something specifically. All right. At this point, she hadn't said anything, so there was nothing to respond to specifically. Now, what we want Cynthia to do in our system is we want her to go through this application process. So even though she did not respond, she did not use her cell phone to text me back. All right. She did what we wanted her to do, which was to go through the system and initially do an application. How do we know that? Because the system told us. The system tells us everything. Every communication that I will ever have with Cynthia via the system, I will know it. I'll be able to go back, chronicle it. I'll be able to see what we discussed. So now let's say that I find out that Cynthia is in wellness and she loves the wellness arena. Okay. And I now pick up a wellness offer. Well, shoot, why not send her a text and say, hey, I know you're interested in wellness. This might be something up your alley. Take a look. Tell me what you think. Responsive list. Responsive list. Responsive list. Okay. Now, system continues to communicate to Cynthia. All right. She's taking the application. It says, hey, I'm going to look it over before the final review of will you be around just in case I need you? All right. There was a backlog of applications. The system sent her a message saying, hey, can't process your application at this time. We're behind. We'll get to it as soon as we can, so on and so forth. All right. Now, so far, Cynthia has not responded from the standpoint of sending a message back. But now, look at this. Now, all of a sudden, Cynthia responds. The message said, just do me a favor and answer with quick, short responses, okay? And maybe at those times that she got the other text messages, maybe she had her mama's hat on. Maybe she had her wifey hat on. Maybe she had her I'm on my job hat on, all right? Now she responds. Now, why is this important? Because as I go through my leads, and I see someone responding, I'm making a note, oh, Cynthia is a responder. She responds. What do we want to build? Responsive list. Ultimately, building a following from what? A responsive list. Okay? By the way, I found out that she was promoting a specific business. All right. And so my question to her was, how's your business going? Now, look at how different that messaging is from most marketers. One, I wouldn't know what she was promoting if she just got into my email list. But she told me what she was promoting. She went through an application process and she put in that application what she was promoting, gave a link of what she was promoting. I went and I checked it out. All right. And in a way to build more of a rapport with someone in my list, because what I'm looking to do is develop a following instead of me just pitching her on my stuff. Join me, buy for me. Now, she's in my system. It's going to present the offer, but I want her to know. See, you've probably heard this said, it doesn't matter how much you know until they know how much you care. They don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Give me a moment. Heaven, get in the bed. I declare, that's my little girl. My office is on the other side of her bedroom, and there's a bathroom that separates us, and she likes to keep the bathroom door open so she can hear Daddy, but she should be asleep by now. That happens a lot. Okay. Yeah. And then when I wake her up early in the morning, she's like, Daddy, do I have to get up? If you're taking your butt to bed when I first put you to bed. Okay. All right. So now all of a sudden we're starting to see. Now here's another message coming out from our system. Cynthia is saying, okay, she's reviewing it now. Now I don't just have a lead. I've got a responsive lead. I've got a lead that's gone through the application. I've got a lead now who's responding to me. All right. That's important. Because I want to build this responsive list. Ultimately, I want to build a following, but it starts with building a responsive list. So you can see how the system, most of the messages that you see here were systematic messages, where the autoresponder when you get this system, it already has the autoresponders. You don't have to come up with the messages to send out. It's already doing that. Now, here's what I want you to see. All right. So then Cynthia goes through. She gets the system. And it says, congratulations on moving forward. We're now 50-50 partners. There's a compensation side to that. I won't get into that tonight. But that generated some revenue because Cynthia came through our system. But here's what I want you to get, okay? October 26th at 10:15 p.m. I'm sorry. October 26th at 11:35 p.m. The message says, we're now 50-50 partners. So Cynthia has gone through the steps to get the system, and we're now 50-50 partners, okay? Now, look at this. She now gets access to the system, and I want you to see what happens the next day. The very next day, October 27th, not even a full 24 hours after Cynthia got access to the system, Cynthia now has Mrs. Ethel May Gibbs. I think Miss Ethel was out there in, is it San Francisco? I think she's out in San Francisco. Now, look at what happened. System to Cynthia. So the system was telling Cynthia, hey, you just had a new opt-in. Ethel May Gibbs just opted in. All right. Now, why is this so powerful? Because the same system that got Cynthia to ultimately do business with us by getting the system from us, and there's a compensation element to that, okay, is the same system that Cynthia was able to employ immediately. Meaning, as soon as she got access to the system, the very first person that opted into her system gets the same messages from the system that my system sent to Cynthia. Now, in other forms of marketing, let's say you join me in ABC company, all right? Normally what would have to happen to get duplication is you'd have to go and get some type of lead capture page system, all right, so that you can have the same type of lead capture page that I have. And then you'd have to go and get an autoresponder, all right, and then you have to set up the autoresponder. Now, we might have some messages that you could basically graft into your autoresponder, but that's if you're new at all this stuff, if you've never done all this stuff, and techiness, intimidates you, guess what? You probably wouldn't duplicate that. But what if you could have access to a system that just as soon as you got the system, and as soon as you had the first person subscribe, maybe it was a friend of yours on Facebook, maybe you did some paid marketing, all right? Maybe you did something on a myriad of different sites or what have you. Maybe you sent out a link. Maybe you have an email list, or you've got a Facebook following, or you've got a Twitter following, and you sent out a link and people opted in. The moment they opt into the system goes to work for you. Now, in time, do I want you to get good at putting your personal touch? When you see Cynthia responded, maybe going back in and having a little conversation with her? Sure. That's a little more advanced, but for right now, just know Cynthia didn't know enough about the system, I'm sure, to do all that stuff just 24 hours later, but the system worked on her behalf. You want to build a responsive list, you've got to employ the right list building tools. This, ladies and gentlemen, is far more important than any singular offer out there. If I had to choose between, my gosh, do I get the system or do I join this business? Do I get the system or do I have the auto ship with this particular business? Guess what? Guess what's going to take precedence? This RAS, because it helps me to build part of my business. My business is me and my following. Your business is you and your following. And so guess what? Now Ethel starts going through the system. The system is communicating with Ethel, just like my system communicated with Cynthia. Cynthia's system communicates with Ethel. And check this out. There she is. Miss Ethel Gibbs now has gotten the system from Cynthia. And that generated commission dollars for Cynthia. By the way, Ethel, if you're out there, Miss Ethel, if you're out there, this was an amazing post in our private community. She's worked with one of the things we talk about in our private community is working on ourselves. So what I tend to do is I'll go in and make a post, for instance, and say, hey, here was me working on me today. All right, this is the link that I was using, and what have you. And we're always telling our folks, find that voice or voices that resonate with you, that speak to you, not just rah-rah motivation, but that really speak to you to effect some change. All right, for a lot of us, we've got to reset our subconscious programming. For a lot of us, our subconscious programming is programmed not to be successful. And it's not your fault. It has a lot to do with upbringing. It's got a lot to do with the environment. It's got a lot to do with what you saw when you watched TV, what you heard when you listened to the radio. You know, if you're hearing things like filthy rich, all right, you might have subconsciously, not consciously, all right, just like I consciously, I haven't paid any attention to how many times my eyes have blinked, but I know it's blinked a lot in this hour that we've been on the webinar. That's an unconscious thing that's happening. So the decisions that we actually make are not conscious decisions. We make decisions based on our subconscious programming. If you've ever wondered, how did I do this all over again? I mean, the same thing keeps repeating itself. I mean, I should know better. That's because you didn't consciously do that. That's subconscious programming. So we need subconscious reprogramming, which is why we have to work on ourselves on a daily basis. That's going to help you bring more value to the marketplace. The more value you bring to the marketplace, the more the marketplace is going to reward you with the things you're looking for: recruits, sales, commissions, profits, so on and so forth. So my point here is, all I had to do was get the system and then start getting people to go through the system. The system start communicating with Cynthia, all right? Eventually, she made a few responses. She then gets the system, and immediately when she gets the system, Ethel gets into her system, and the system starts to communicate with Ethel, just like my system is communicating with Cynthia. Now, can you see that leveling the playing field? You see how that levels the playing field? That Cynthia didn't really even have to know anything about the system. All she had to do was get somebody to opt in, and immediately her system is going to work for her. All right, third powerful way to build a responsive list. All right, so now you want to have an SMS text messaging tool, because 98% of all text messages are at least looked at. It doesn't mean that every link that's been sent they're going to click on or what have you. All right, but they're at least looking at it. They're at least looking at it, okay? Number two, you want to have a system that has an auto response mechanism, so that just as soon as someone opts in, your system goes to work on your behalf. You're at work, it's working for you. You're asleep, it's working for you. You're on the beaches of the world, it's working for you. And then the third thing is, you want to make sure that you're consistently communicating value to your list. Again, it can't just be join me, join me, join me. It can't just be buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. And when you do have a join me message, when you do have a buy from me message, you want that buy from me, that join me message wrapped in value. Okay, so this is what we termed, and we didn't even know that the mobile marketing system was going to have this. All right, this is something we started talking about and teaching our audience almost a year ago. And we call it a value vault, okay? Well, what is a value vault? A value vault is a series of messages that you send to your audience, that you send to your list. Now, it's not just about training, marketing training. It's not just about your offer, all right? It's a myriad of topics that could be discussed in your value vault training that really is designed for you to have something of value that goes to your list on a consistent basis. So let me show you how this works with RAS, okay? All right, so you just saw, as we dealt with, as we show with Cynthia, how the system communicates initially when someone opts in and says, hey, go on and take the application, and so on and so forth. Well, there's going to be some folks that do that right away. There's going to be some folks that don't, all right? And for those folks that don't take action right away, the system is going to continue to consistently provide value to them on a daily basis. All right. All right. So here's one of my leads, and you can see on November 5th, 2016, the system sent him out a link. Now, by the way, it sent him out a link. It would have sent her out a link. It would have sent John, Mary, Susan, what have you. All right. If they haven't gone through our system and adopted our system prior to getting to this point, the system automatically sends out a text message on a daily basis, all right, with a link in there for them to check out, knowing that 98% of the folks are going to see it. They may not click onto it, all right, but if the system's sending them out a link every single day, all right, and they're not saying, hey, stop sending me this, then we're going to let the system keep sending out the link, all right? So the next day on November 6th, send them out a link. The next day, you can see it's about the same time of day. You can see that, right? Based on when he originally opted in. Now, this is my time. That may not be his time. And as a matter of fact, I know this particular lead lives in Germany, so he's several hours ahead of me. All right. So I want you to get an example. I want you to see an example of this particular video right here that is sent out. All right. So it sends out the link. They click on the link. It takes them to YouTube. It takes them to a YouTube video. All right. So again, you don't have to be the content creator. You just have to provide valuable content. Now, this right here is talking about a 3D printed car. I don't know if you are familiar with 3D printers. I've heard that, but I never really knew what that was, to be honest with you, until I watched this video. And basically, this car was like done at somebody's house. All right, now they're driving the car. And I still don't know how that works. All right, but I did watch the video and I thought, man, that's pretty cool. Wow, that's some cool stuff. Now, you say, well, what does that have to do about my back-end offer? It has everything to do about what's going to have people responding to your back-end offer. And that is building a responsive list. Now, will everybody see that particular video? No. But will enough people see it that would have been like me, man, that's cool stuff. Get the heck up out of here. Now, all of a sudden, I'm more apt when I get another text message with a link to check out what that might be about. All right. And so here was one of the videos that the system sent this particular person. Okay. It would send, if you were in my list, it would send it to you. If you hadn't gotten our system, if you were in Peggy's list, all right, Peggy's system would send this to you as well. And what was very interesting, I watched this one, and the gentleman is talking about when free is dangerous. A lot of people want stuff for free, and he's talking about, well, a lot of companies that offer free stuff, there's some big gotchas on the back end. In some cases, you might even be better off things not being free. Now, why is that important? Because you're going to get people coming through your list, they want something for nothing. They want something free. Now, when they watch this video, maybe it changes their mind a little bit. So now when they hear that you don't have a free opportunity, it costs something, maybe it's reshaped their thinking just somewhat. Now, check this out. I'm going to have to round third here in just a few moments. All right. So check this out. So here are these messages going out to my lead. And you notice he's not responding. Right. He's not responding. He hadn't said anything. Right. That means he's not watching. That means he hadn't clicked on a link, all right? But so far, it doesn't look like he's responding. Unless he tells me to stop sending him messages, I'm going to let the system keep communicating with him. Now, this is interesting. All right, so then one day, our system sends out a message designed to elicit a response. All right, and so it sends a message out to him, puts his name in there, says, hey, what's a good builder YouTube video I can watch to learn what a day in the life of you is like? So, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. What's a good YouTube video that would kind of give me some insight about what your life is like, what a day in your life is like, okay? Now, I want you to get this. I've never seen anything like this, certainly not in email marketing, okay? All right, so he responds back. He says, I don't really know. If I find something later after work, I'll share, but I do have plenty of topics that I find uplifting and motivating. All right, so now, for the first time, he's responding back to one of the systematic messages, okay? And he says, hey, I don't know of a video that would give some insights about, the type of person I am. I got to go to work. But I'll tell you what, after I get off work, let me find something. Now, really, would anybody expect him to go to work, come back home, go online, find a YouTube video to send to me? Would anybody expect that? I wouldn't have expected that, but look at what happened. Some 10 and a half hours later, that's exactly what he did. He got off work. He went to work. He works a full day. He gets off work. He goes to YouTube and he finds a link to say, hey, this is what a day is like in my life. And did I watch it? Yes, I did. So now, what does this mean? What do I know about this dude? This is a responder. Did you get that? The dude went to work. He worked all day. He comes home, finds a YouTube video and says, hey, this is what it's like to be me. And this was me right here because I was just flabbergasted that the dude did this. Now, do you think maybe he's been paying attention to some of those other previous videos? These videos were sent out to him earlier. Do you think maybe he paid attention to those? Just maybe. And now, just so you know, the reason you see his picture here is because he's gone through the process of getting the system. The picture appeared after he went through the process, all right? So before it didn't have that picture because he hadn't gone through the process. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen anything like that. If that's cool, put a C in your questions box. If that's cool. If you're saying, oh my God, are you, huh? Put a C in your, yeah, that's cool. So now, if tomorrow I had a brand new offer that I was promoting, you think I can come to this lead and say, hey, check this out? And you think there's a good chance he'll at least check it out? If he would go to work 10 and a half hours later after coming home from work, he would send me a link to tell me what his life is like. Do you think he might check out some promotional offer? So what's most important? That offer that you love. The company you said your nuptials to. With this ring company, with this ring offer, with this ring compensation plan, Ivy Wed? Or is it having a system like this that allows you to build a responsive list so that you can ultimately tap into your following? All right. Now, and Giselle just said this. She said that I was on his mind, meaning, again, this has blown me away. I'm still blown away. That 10 and a half hours after going to work, he's thinking about that. That's what you want to build, a responsive list. And I think I'm just about through with my time here. Just give you a few more folks that are leveraging RAS and what they are saying, what's going on. Here's Christopher. He said, since 3 weeks ago, when I was fortunate enough to own my RAS business, and RAS is really more of a tool. He said, a feeling has been building upon me, but I could not put my finger on it until now. Until RAS, I used to promote other offers. They would come and go. Anybody ever had that happen? If you've had offers come and go, put CG in your questions box. CG, they come and go. They come and go. They come and go. Okay? All right? And so what he said was, but since I have been with RAS, and it's only been 3 weeks, he says the feeling I was getting was security and safety. Knowing we can promote the best offers, whether they stay or go, my RAS business is safe. What is he alluding to? He's building a responsive list. So if he's promoting ABC today, and ABC cuts the fool, ABC does stupid stuff, ABC goes away, he still has the list. That's still his list. That's his asset that he's continuing to build and build and build and build. Here's Martin. Martin came in very quickly. got some traffic to his system. 561 people saw his system. 122 opted in. 5 as of when he made this post had already gone on and gone through the application process. 1 person came out on the other end. I don't know if it's any more than that right now as a sale. He says, I love RAS monetize. And I love Angela. And I wanted to show you that not everybody's going to get a sale or 2 or 17 right away. All right. She said, hey, I hadn't gotten any sales just yet. I'm hopeful. But this is what she's already learned. She's learned the difference between paid advertising, paid traffic, and free traffic. Look at what she says here. All right. She did a paid traffic campaign. She got 238 people looking at her site. She got 42 people that opted in. 3 of them are at the application and presentation process. So, you know, they may come out on the other end actually getting the system from her or you know, joining her in the back end offer. All right. Now, she did a free traffic exchange. Not all traffic is created equal. And on her free traffic exchange, all right, 987 folks saw the site, but only 5 opted in. All right. Not all traffic is the same. Not all traffic is the same. All right. And so even if she hasn't gotten a sale, look at what she's already understanding, what she's beginning to pick up about building a long-term sustainable business. And by the way, don't have time to talk about it tonight. She's going to be able to monetize these 42 opt-ins, whether they buy from her, whether they join her, whether they get the system or not. She's going to be able to monetize these 42 opt-ins in something we call our lead redistribution program. Don't have time to cover that. Okay, so we are rounding third. There's my buddy Anders. Anders was a beta tester along with yours truly. Actually, I think he's been beta testing longer than I was. And for both of us, it's been 3 years or over, okay? So you can see what's happening for our folks is they're starting to really put value on building their list. Here he did a campaign, 183 opt-ins, 25 paid, 3 sales have already come out of that, probably more now. As a matter of fact, Anders, today we had our first pay run this past Monday. All right, we'll call Mondays Money Mondays. Almost $40,000 of commissions paid out to our razzers. And his funds hit his card today, his pay card today, and immediately he went and he did some paid advertising to get more people into his system because he understands that his business is not the offer, though the offer is important. His business is Anders and Anders' following. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want you to do. If you do not already have RAS, you need to connect with the person that got you on tonight's webinar and say, hey, send me your RAS link and take the RAS tour. Some of you have already begun the tour, but you've not completed the tour. And I'll tell you what, give me a moment. I'm going to give you a link. If you've already taken the tour, give me a moment, but you've not completed actually getting the system, or maybe you've not even completed the full tour, I am going to post in on the whiteboard and also in your questions box the link for you to continue your tour. Now, if you've not started the tour, this link won't do anything for you, okay? This is only for those of you that have started your RAS tour, but you haven't completed some part of it, okay? And I am going to post this in your questions box. So everyone should get that. I'm sorry, in your chat box. All right, so everyone should get that. If you still need to take the tour, then connect with the person that referred you. I'll put one other thing up here real quickly. If you are an orphan, and you need someone's link so that you can take a tour through their link, then you can shoot an email to reverseadvertisingsystem@gmail.com, reverseadvertisingsystem@gmail.com. All right, so here's your call to action. Your call to action is 1. You have started the tour, but you've not completed it. You're going to be going here. All right, you're going to put in your phone number and your PIN code that the system gave you. If you don't remember your PIN code, the system will refresh you on your PIN code, and that's going to look like this right here. Okay, you put in your cell phone number and your PIN code. If you don't remember your PIN code, just click I forgot my PIN code and it'll shoot it to your cell phone number. All right, so complete the tour. Complete the application process, and then the remainder of the tour. If you need a link and you don't know who to get a link from, maybe you were with the back-end offer and the person that referred you to the back-end offer is not around, then send an email to reverseadvertisingsystem@gmail.com. What we'll do is we'll get you the link of someone who's very vibrant, who's very active inside of the RAS community. All right, so with that being said, real quickly as a way of announcement, I plan to have this recording up tomorrow in the later part of the afternoon. For those of you that are in RAS, we will post this in your surfboard with a couple of instructions if you want to send this out to your leads list, whether it's your text list or whether it's your email list. For those of you, all the rest of you, we will send out this recording via our email list as well as via our push notification list. So if you found value in tonight's training, you want to see it and hear it again, or better yet, you want to send it out to some other folks as a way for them to bring value to them, so that now they start following you more because you're providing value. Remember, you don't have to be the content creator. Okay. All right. So with that being said, Queen, how about we go on and we take about 15 minutes of RAS related questions. Let's build